Our second student, I don't believe is here, unless Mason has come in. But I'll tell you a little bit about Mason. He's a senior at Maricopa High School, and he was also selected by the staff and administration at Maricopa High School to be the January Rotary Student of the Month. His parents are Carmen and David Wigginson. Mason's guidance counselor, Mrs. Rebecca Collins, nominated him for this award. She said, "I wish to recommend Mason Wigginson for Rotary Club Student of the Month. As a counselor at Maricopa High School, I have worked closely with him for the past 2 years and have developed a great deal of respect for this remarkable young man during that time. He has excelled in all academic fields, and she's familiar with his education and career goals and know that he will achieve whatever his mind is set to. He's a capable student, and more importantly, he is driven by a desire to do good for his community. His involvement in both football and baseball over his high school career has made him an admired student athlete amongst his peers and Maricopa High School staff. I cannot think of anyone more deserving of this honor, and I wholeheartedly support my nomination. Your commitments on and off the Maricopa High School campus will make you an exceptional Maricopa High School student and an example for others to strive to achieve. Rotary extends their sincere congratulations for your accomplishments and these amazing words for staff members at Maricopa High School. Please give me a hand of applause for Mason. Thank you very much.
Next, we have recognition for Citizenship Award to Maricopa High School student Haley Petersheim from the Casa Grande Valley chapter of Daughters of the American Revolution. And Mrs. Barbara Schultz is here to make that presentation, so I'd like to ask her to come up, and I'll just turn the microphone over to her.
Members of the school board, I thank you very, very much for this privilege of being here tonight. The Daughters of the American Revolution are a group of women who can prove direct descendants from somebody who either fought for or helped the side of the patriots in the American Revolution. And as such, our main goals are to promote education, patriotism, and historic preservation. I'm here tonight to tell you about Haley Petersheim, and I think the best way to do that is to read to you a letter from Mr. Goodman, who's the social studies teacher at Maricopa High School. And he wrote to us telling, I am writing on behalf of one of our high school nominee, Haley Petersheim. She would be an ideal representative of what your award embodies. Her desire to enhance leadership and further academic pursuits is unbounded. With your assistance, I am extremely confident that Haley's dream of further academic study can be achieved. Haley was one of the founders of my Junior State of America Club, which started in August of 2016, and has demonstrated leadership throughout her tenure in that club. Leadership is one of the strongest components to Haley's overall body of work. Haley volunteered her time to help plan conventions for all high school students within Maricopa, weekly meetings, and multiple school-wide debates between students and teachers. Haley continues to pursue personal growth in various facets by attending leadership conferences in Arizona and holding event coordinator to president of the JSA. She has spent her summers in leadership programs such as the Arizona State Institute on Leadership and Politics to help further her political understanding and leadership skills. Haley helped create a dinner to raise funds for those suffering from the devastating floods in Peru during the summer of 2017. Finally, Haley has shown a passion for further academic pursuits by raising awareness of the suffering of the homeless in our school and the community at large. Even though I know Haley more from her JSA involvement, Haley was a student in my AP US History course. Haley was always a leadership in the classroom and would lead our class in great discussions and group projects. She achieved greatly academically and modeled what a dedicated student was supposed to be. Having a student like Haley in the classroom is what makes teaching even more enjoyable. Haley's interest in academics and organizational involvement is greater than most of her peers. She has taken many honor and AP courses, excelling in the highest levels, which shows with a weighted GPA of 4.5 on a 4.0 scale. Haley has spent many years volunteering and serving the community through assisting with blood drives, holding food drives for the community food bank, and registering citizens to vote. You know, I'm going to stop there. I read this letter. All I could say was, wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce to you Haley Petersheim. So, Haley, I'm presenting you with a pin, a certificate, and a check for $100. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Haley. Next, we have some overdue recognition from football season. We're very proud of Maricopa High School football players who were 5A Metro Award recipients, all region 5A Metro Award recipients at football, and we really did try to get them here earlier in the year, but schedules didn't allow it. So I'd like to introduce head coach Chris Mcdonald to come up and tell us about those players and that recognition.
Eddie, why don't you come back in here? We're waiting on one. Chemo is his name. He tracked. He's running a little late. So anyway, I'm going to call him up. Stefan, Angel Nelson, Eddie Donaldson, Jacob County, and Tylen, Riley Coleman. Like I said, we have chemo here together. So, 3 of these guys, there he is. Come on.
Yay!
That's it. So I'll say a brief summary about each. Angel, at the end, he's a junior. Was first team all session as a defensive back. He's going to be returning next year. Future is bright. Fantastic student athlete. Dad coaches in the program. Dad's part of the community. Angel, what's your GPA? Like a 3.8, 3.7, right? 39. So obviously a great student athlete, great ambassador. All 5 of these guys up here are great ambassadors for the community and the program and really the school. We've got another football player back here, Jimmy, you'll hear speak, and and get recognized, and just fantastic kids that are really doing well for Maricopa. Jacob County, he was also All-State as a wide receiver. He's a junior. He's going to be coming back. I think he was second in the entire state in receiving for 5A. So he's a three-sport athlete, a great student athlete as well, high-character kid. Plays basketball, competes in track, going to be one of the top sprinters too. So again, very well-rounded. Eddie Donaldson, he's a senior. We've got 2 seniors up here, so had this kid for 4 years, watched him really mature. He got all section as a linebacker, voted by, and again, let me explain how it works. So other coaches vote within the section, vote for these kids. I'm not able to vote for my own kids. So we can only vote for others. So these guys are picked by, basically my colleagues within the section. But Eddie broke his hand, played 2 games with a broken hand, and played the last 2 games of the season and was still voted all section with really half the body of work as everybody else. Another 3-0 student, great kid, high character kid, stays out of trouble, going to miss him. Tyler Coleman, he's a junior. He was All-State as well, so we have 2 kids that are All-State that will be coming back. He was, I think, second in the state in sacks. I believe we're going to be using him at running back next year. Just a phenomenal athlete, very explosive, very strong. Another high-character kid. I mean, all these kids are just really good kids. I'm just really proud of them. He's a 3-sport athlete, represents Maricopa in wrestling and track as well. Just another high-character kid. Kimo, he's a senior. I know he's late, but he's a good kid, trust me. First impressions, I know, but he really is. He was voted as a top 60 scholar athlete in the entire state. So what that means is the National Football Federation, the Fiesta Bowl charities run the one in Arizona, but they choose 60 athletes throughout the entire state, football players that not only excel on the field, but in the classroom as well, and then in community service. And it's for all divisions, so 1A all the way up to 6A. So we're talking thousands of kids that participate in football, obviously, in the state of Arizona. This kid is top 60. Like I said, I think that says a lot for the program and the school and the community. And we have another kid that will be recognized, I'm sure, in the next month. He won the Shaw Award, which was given to he was the only person to receive it. It's based on courage in the entire state. He was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. He ended up starting at right tackle for us this year. His name's Brendan West, but he's another kid that was recognized by National Football Federation. We were one of only maybe 4 schools in the entire state that had multiple representatives within that top 60. So just really proud of these guys. And like I said, we got Jimmy back here who's, he's up for state DECA, and just good kids, and I just ask continually come out and support these guys. So, round of applause for these guys.
That's okay. Yeah, it looks. That's impressive, those GPAs. That's what I like.
Thank you, Coach McDonald. I'm very proud of those football players. Next up, we also have some very special recognition. We've talked about this in the past, and you will remember that back in December, the Maricopa Unified School District Blended Learning Program won a 2017 Arizona School Board Association Golden Bell Award. There were only 3 of these awards given out in the entire state, and they recognize outstanding educational programs. And this program was for kindergarten through grade 8 programs. There was only one in that category that was recognized. That's Maricopa Unified School District. And we were recognized for our blended learning programs, which really began at Maricopa Wells about, 6 years ago. I believe this is the 6th year. Then spread to Desert Wind Middle School, and Santa Rosa has embraced blended learning as well. And so there's 18 teachers total between those 3 schools teaching in blended learning programs, and we are just very proud of the work that they've done and the recognition that they receive. We have a beautiful big trophy that actually is here at the district office, and blended teachers are welcome to borrow it at any time. But all 18 names are on that trophy, and we're very, very proud of that work. There's a lot of good blended learning going on in all other schools too, but those 3 schools have really embraced this learning concept where kids do a lot of their curriculum work on their laptops. They do project-based, they do small group, they do traditional instruction, and have a lot of ownership in their learning. And it's worked very well for us, and we're very proud of that progress, and looking forward to continue to growing those programs as well. But anyway, because we only got one Golden Bell, we wanted to make sure that all 18 teachers had their own Golden Bell. So I'm going to invite them to come up, and they're going to receive a certificate and their own personal Golden Bell. Yeah. First up, Aaron Bell. Jennifer Cameron. Nicole Cantrell. Rebecca Drury. And you have to come up and get your certificate and your bell, please. Is there 2 of those for Rebecca? Can I read that? Jackie Hahn. Janelle Hudson. Kyrie Hughes. Shannon Hull. Amy Hunt. Brittany Parsons. Robin Rice. Jennifer Soltisic. Joseph Soltisic. Laura Tights. Jennifer Titus. Casey Turek. Jackie Whitty. Mindy Zanini Ma. And that's it. We'll get those out to them. You bet. Thank you. Perfect. Good work. Good teamwork.
Yes, they do. Thank you. Thank you.
Very proud of the good work being done in those classrooms by those teachers. Thank you. I do have a few other slides, some really brief information. I think Garrett has my slides back there. You can put those up.
I don't see one.
Garrett, you might have to click for me. Let's go a couple more. I can't find the clicker, so you're going to have to do it, Garrett. One more. One more. Oh, back. Yesterday, we found out that congratulations are due to Maricopa Elementary School because they became a Leader in Me Lighthouse School.
Awesome.
There are only 4 lighthouse schools in the state of Arizona, and there are only 352 in the world. And Leader in Me is based on the principles in 7 Habits of Highly Effective Leaders, written by Stephen Covey. It is a wonderful way to unite the academic culture of a school. And they've been working on this for 4 years. The results have been amazing, and I encourage anyone to visit Maricopa Elementary School the very first time you get an opportunity to do that. We are not ready for a formal recognition tonight because we just found out that's definitely a future recognition, but very proud of them and good work, Maricopa Elementary. Next slide. I just want to report the Budget Committee is plugging away. Had another meeting last night and another one coming up in about 2 weeks or 1 week? 20th. The 20th. So we're plugging away. Next slide. I want to remind everyone that tomorrow night in this very room will be a Maricopa, that's as in City of Maricopa, School Safety Forum. We'll start at 6:30 right here, and we're going to have a panel discussion. Panelists will include Mayor Christian Price, Police Chief Steve Stahl, Fire Chief Brady Leffler, myself, principals from the 3 large charter schools, from Legacy Traditional, Amy Sundin, from Leading Edge, Matt Reese, and from Sequoia Pathway, Dr. Alfonso Alva. And we will give brief information about our student safety programs at our schools. We will hear from the mayor, police chief, fire chief on that topic. And then we're going to spend the bulk of the evening on question and answers. So if you have questions, we invite you to bring them. And this is a very important discussion for every school in the nation, including schools in Maricopa. We're looking forward to that night. We will be making a YouTube video of that. And in case you don't know, we YouTube all of our board meetings. So this is actually, you can watch this live. I think there's a 2-second delay on YouTube. You can watch this broadcast. That'll be true tomorrow night as well. And then it will also be archived. And if you go to YouTube and just type in Maricopa Unified School District, you should be able to find that link. So we invite people to participate either in person or via YouTube. Also, I just want to announce that we'll be explaining this more tomorrow night, but the mayor envisions this as a series of community meetings on this topic. It's not the kind of topic that you can cover in one night and go home and then we've got that problem solved. That's just not the nature of this issue. And he envisions a process involving several meetings over a period of time, and I think that is a good idea on this important topic. So anyway, I just want to invite everyone tomorrow night, 6:30. And I found the clicker, and I don't have any more slides. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chestnut. We will now move on to item 4, governing board member reports, and we'll start with you, Member Petray.
Thank you. Well, I haven't really done anything the last couple of weeks except board meetings, which I love to do. I will be in attendance to the safety forum. I think all of us are planning on being there. I think it's really important, and I'm happy to see that the community is getting together, and I hope to see a lot of faces in this room tomorrow night. It is an important discussion, and it needs to be had. I am, because this week is reading week, Dr. Seuss, and so I'm very excited. Tomorrow I'm going over to Butterfield, and then on Friday I'll be at Santa Rosa, and I get to read one of my favorite Dr. Seuss books to the classes. I just happen to know it by heart, too, so that helps. And other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Judd?
Thank you, President Noor. I will also be attending the school safety forum tomorrow night at 6:30. If I recall, we attempted this a while back, and I want to say that it was after Sandy Hook, but it was not well attended, and I remember that very specifically. I remember myself, and there were 2 other fathers, and those were the only parents that had shown up for that night. So I think, based on the climate, that I would imagine that this would be much better attended. I would hope that it would be much better attended. And it's a serious situation, and I think the community should be involved. And it's your outlet. It's your you have an opportunity to be able to communicate with your leaders. So I think it's you should take advantage of it. Additionally, I just need to give a little shout out to a donation drive for the music department on March 20th to the 22nd from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Maricopa High School band room. If you don't know where that is, it's behind the Performing Arts Center. They will be doing an instrument drive. They are in dire need of additional instruments. We have instruments for students to play within the district, but Mr. Wagner is always struggling in order to be able to keep those maintained. So any additional instruments that you have lying around, you can donate it, and it would be a great last-minute tax write-off if anyone is looking to do that right before the tax deadline. So welcome you to donate any of those old instruments. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Mrs. Anderson?
Okay, it's a crazy week. First, I want to thank Chief Stahl and City Council and our leaders for organizing tomorrow night's important discussion on school safety. Again, like Mr. Judd, it's important that we're here, and I welcome that conversation. So I want to thank the city for kind of spearheading that and getting that going. Let's see, I will be at Santa Rosa on Friday for Read Across America. Budget Committee meeting was last night. I know with Councilman Wade, we were here. Jeff does a great job of getting us out right at 7. Keeps our feet to the fire, so I appreciate that. But he's doing a great job, and some wonderful discussions are coming out of the Budget Committee, and I welcome those discussions. So I'm glad to be part of that, and excited to do our final vote on the 20th and have the presentation to the board. So I think it'll be interesting. And one last thing: spring break is in 2 weeks. Woohoo! So yeah, that's pretty cool. But that also means that there's probably some midterms coming up too. So, and tomorrow is PSATs at the high school. So those of you that need to go home and study, go home and study. And I think that's it. I did go to the supervisors meeting this morning. That was quite interesting. And it's a crazy week. Saturday's a fundraiser. So, all right, that's it. Whew.
Great, thank you. I just have a couple things to report. And Dr. Karen Gaskett, who is leading our search for the superintendent, has asked me to remind everybody about the process that we've been going through and how that will look over the next month. And so I wanted just to let everybody know that the board has been meeting quite frequently, and we went through 30 applications and narrowed it down to 6 that we will be interviewing on March 13th and 14th. So our spring break will be interviewing superintendent candidates. And then we will select finalists that we will then interview on March 23rd. And then the community is invited, this is the very important part, to a forum on March 26th, which is a Monday at 7 p.m., to come and listen to the finalists, to ask questions, and then finally at the end of that to provide feedback to the board for us to make our final decision. So please, everybody, try and make it to that event on the 26th, because if you care about our schools and you want to have input into the next leader, it's imperative that you're there. Yeah, and we made it at 7 o'clock so that even if you have to drive Maricopa Road home, you know, from a job in town, that even if there's an accident, you should be able to make it here on time. So that was our goal. I know that it's hard to get here in the evenings, but that's why we made it so late, because we'll probably be here till midnight that night with executive session, but it's worth it so that we can maximize the amount of community members that attend. And then I am also reading at Butterfield on Friday, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm reading my favorite Dr. Seuss book, which not a lot of people know about, called Robert the Rose Horse, so I highly recommend that book. And finally, it's never too early to start thinking about the fact that it's an election year and that you could be up here with us on Wednesday nights. So if you're interested in the school board and serving up here on Wednesday nights, I encourage you to reach out to the Pinell County Superintendent of Public Schools office, which can help you figure out what's needed in order to run for this office and join us on Wednesday nights.
Oh, Mrs. Knorr, ASBA is also offering a webinar as well
Okay.
for interested school board members. So if you're interested, you can go to the azsba.org website, and they can get you information regarding the webinar.
Great, thank you. That's wonderful. And finally, I will also be here tomorrow night, so Lisa should probably post a quorum notice. Oh, you did? Okay, thank you. So looking forward to it. Of course you did. That's all I have. So we will move on to item 5, information and work study. And first is the Maricopa Wells Middle School Future City regional and national participants recognition. So really excited. These kids fresh out from DC, right? Good job. You go sit down.
Good evening. Thank you, members of the board, Dr. Chestnut. I am Mr. S. This is S. I have been part of the building for 6 years, and one consistent project we've done the last 6 years is the Future Cities. Everyone here knows about it, so I'm not going to go into much detail about it. I do want to recognize my colleagues. This is Robin Rice. This is Anna Lessing. And a teacher and mother of one of the participants for the national or the state championship in Alaska. This is Whitney. Before we recognize all our students, we do want to have our state champion, Maricopa Wells, come up and present for you guys. So if I can get Mr. Joseph Abel, Ms. Ryan Carcola, Ms. Lauren Lee. Before they present, these are your state champions, amongst many awards won in the competition. Before they present, Mrs. Rice, Mrs. Whitty, and Ms. Hudson accompanied these students to DC, so they're going to talk about that right away.
We took these beautiful students to Washington, D.C. on an all-expenses paid trip for them. And we also took 24 other participants, their parents, their grandparents, and their siblings. So we had a total of 27 people in Washington, D.C., and all 27 of us went and toured the U.S. Capitol, which was awesome. So these students and their parents and siblings had a great time. They did compete at the national competition, which is a 3-day competition, and they won a national award for the most sustainable city, so we're very proud of them there. They did a great job. It's a lot of work. It's a long 3 days for them. And we all had an amazing time toward the White House, toward the U.S. Capitol, toward the Pentagon, with Ben's Chili Bowl, and the Washington, D.C. Grilled Cheese Bar. So, don't know what else you can do.
just waiting to hear about police and fire services.
Well, that sounds exciting. How do they work? Well, Grandma, in University uses drone command center for people program their nurse to stop them to disseminate our progress in fire or crime almost immediately. Snappers! If only I had this in math class, it'd be so much more high-tech and secure. Yeah, Grandma, University shows a lot of things to talk about in class.
A few other examples of these would be waste management and power.
For waste management, University uses Brahma, which is a supersonic turbine. The delivery trash turns to electric energy for a city.
But it doesn't stop there. Instead of letting byproducts pollute in Boston there, we filter it through a circular fuel storage facility.
Wow, Dad, it looks like your trash is taken care of, but what about those kids' power sources? I'm longing to hear about those.
Oh, you can't forget about that. University uses power sources such as C4 Tidal, Solar, and Connect.
For seawater tidal, University uses a large field of water turbines placed on the bottom of the sea. When the ocean's current empties, it turns them, creating energy for our cities.
And then we have Solar and Connect, which are blended in Boston's landscape, such as Connect House Carefree placed on in Boston's walkways, and transparent solar panels placed within in Boston's windows.
Ooh, I think you two have to just be moved here.
Really?
Let's go calm down.
I'm sure that would be so good.
Thank you, Anastasia. Those kids are amazing. So, as Ms. Rice said, they did win a national award as well. So, kudos to them. And this time, those of you guys that don't know, we're only allowed to take 8 teams to the Future City State Competition. And the blended learning well, we have over 30 that compete for those 8 spots. So, we're also going to recognize the rest of our students and their teams that made it to the state competition. There's multiple award winners out there. We probably don't have time to go through all of them, over 10. So the awards come with a nice plaque, and they do get a little bit of cash too, which is makes me jealous all the time. So without further ado, I'm going to have Dr. Chestnut read those names, and we're going to come on up and get our certificates and take a nice picture.
Okay, Team Veniti Vision, Thomas Abel. Ellen Daly. Robert Hahn. Caden Rogers. And Zoe Zimpelman. From Team Sotena, Matea Bernales. Brianna Coronado. Dimitri Freeman. Lauren Girado. And Jacoby West. From Team Nanahi, Amelia Gross. Dylan Hahn. Alahia Marshall. Tanis Palmer. And Victoria Richardson. From Team Vicoso, Alina Antunes. Milo Coatney. Sawyer Coatney. Maverick Miller. And Bailey Rigby. From Team Orimos, Rory Gosiak. Alexander Grace. Emma Kulinowski. Joshua Kulinowski. And Natalie Weeks. From Team Kunia, Caden Atkinson. Jacob Bitter. And Eliza Jimenez. Team Cryo City, Jante Estil. Christopher Murdoch. Max Voigt, and Nicholas Yendreski. From Team Innovacia, Joseph Abel, Alexis Herrera, Abriana Pick, Riley Tarcola, Morgan Whitty. And we have a special certificate for our Innovacia national team, Joseph Abel, Riley Tarcola, Morgan Whitty, Abriana Pick, and Alexis Herrera. Jeez. Pretty cool.
It was amazing.
The number of kids in that
I know.
have to qualify for our own school, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was such a great presentation. I enjoy that every year. So proud of our students. Next, we have item B, Santa Cruz Elementary School presentation, and Dr. Lorraine Conley is going to lead that. Welcome, Santa Cruz. Glad to have you here.
I know. DECA's after that, isn't it?
Boy, that was a tough act to follow. But a nice segue into what we're talking about, because I don't think they could have done all that without math. So we're excited about that. So I'm the principal, Dr. Conway, for Santa Cruz Elementary School, and I am here, and my staff is here, and then we have two teachers that are going to help share their perspective, and that would be Mrs. Dodd, she's going to share a first grade perspective, and then Suzanne Peterson, she's going to share a fifth grade perspective. So I'll pass the mic to them. So I believe there were a few questions that we needed to address, and I have the clicker.
I don't think the clicker's working.
There we go.
Nah.
Okay, so pretty basically, the questions that we had to take a look at was how has the new math curriculum been implemented at Santa Cruz? And so just as a few bullets, I put focus lessons and check for understanding, because that's significant for our success. But school-wide, we've been using many of the components of the curriculum, such as buddy practice, and we call it a quick check which is an online kind of assessment that we do weekly, and it's just 5 questions. We also use the solve and share video for visual representation to increase higher order questioning and to make sure kids have a visual of what we're doing. We paced for mastery, so that means that we went slow in the beginning to go fast in the end. We have a saying, or I have a saying at my school, that we're not feeding chickens. We're not throwing out information and hoping that children get it, because hope is not really a strategy. So we use it to better manage a comprehensive mathematical instructional block with all of the following components. We would have fluency practice, distributive practice, a whole group lesson, independent work with must-do work, can-do, differentiated practice, and then things that help to cement the learning. We are better able to balance the rigor that includes in conceptual understanding, application, and procedural fluency. So I was talking to someone earlier, and so for a 3rd grade student, we technically teach them how to multiply and how to add. But when we're using our curriculum, we go a little step further where we teach them how to use that particular operation. So if they're adding, are you adding multiple groups? If you're multiplying, are you multiplying equal groups? So those kinds of things. Okay, the other thing that we were asked was what progress has been made so far. Everyone in our school is using it. I've observed it formally and informally with walkthroughs. We've adapted using the quick checks that we use weekly that we talked about. But after we do the quick checks, we talk about it in our PLCs. It's not a gotcha for the kids. It's like who got it, who didn't, and what do we do if they got it? We want to enrich. And then what if they didn't get it? We kind of want to reteach. So that's kind of what we use that for. We don't wait until the school city assessment or the AC merit to find out if kids understand that. So then we increase some effectiveness. I noticed a change. I have to observe teachers, sometimes they have like 2 observations that are new to MUSD. And so when I compared the one that I had in September, the one that I had in February, I believe there was an increase in the domain 1 for the teacher observation. And then lastly, every grade except for 1 had a really high, decent average. And so we're excited about the progress, but our goal is that 80% of the kids are passing. So the other thing is in 1st grade, every teacher is at or over 90% of them passing on a mid-year benchmark. And then there's one 4th grade teacher that has 71% of her students passing the mid-city school city exam. And then we had a 5th grade teacher that has 77.46% passing. So we still think that there's lots of work to do. We're excited to be able to listen and look and learn together as a team. So the improvement that we're working on is using the assessment resources to better do a pre- and post-assessment, so we kind of find out where kids are and we drive instruction
then we move on to the lesson. Now, in the practice page, it has about 4 or 5 teacher model questions, and then the rest is student-led. And I feel that the 4 or 5 questions for modeling is not sufficient to cut loose the kids and say, well, good luck, go for it. So we actually do the problems together. And so I have it on the board projected, I model how to do it, and I keep modeling as I slowly pull back and releasing the skills to the students. So once I feel that they've gathered the concept, then I'll say, okay, do the odd problems from here out, we'll check in 5 minutes. So they get to work the problem, then they get to check their answers to see if it's right, and I just slowly try to release it to gain their confidence, or have them gain confidence, and so I know that they're actually understanding this. Every lesson ends with a quick check online. Those are great because they do model some of these strategies or some of the ways that Easy Merit does with the computer, and I instantly see their scores. So I am literally having those scores up there. They always come up and tell me their score anyway, but I can see it, and so that way I can see right away who's getting it and who's not. So the role of my class is to get 80% or higher, which is 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. You're good to either go on to, usually that's our project time into that. If they score below, they go and have to do a practice buddy. That is online, and it's a model lesson, so they do practice the problem, they get to check to see if they're correct. If they're not, they get another shot at it, they get 3 shots at it. And then afterwards, it just basically spells out the steps of how to do it so they can see it. So since I started using those, I've seen even the students who didn't do well in the quick check start to increase their knowledge. So that's kind of how the overall lesson goes. The progress I've seen tremendous growth this year. I've been fortunate enough to move with my class, so I had them for 4th grade, and now I'm in for 5th grade. I have many new students as well, but so I know these kids well. I know where they were last year. I know my struggling students. They still struggle a bit, but nowhere near like they did last year. So I'm just seeing even my kids who were really lost last year, I'm seeing them, they're mastering things. They're coming up to me and saying, Mrs. Peterson, I got 80%, I got 100%. They're so proud of themselves. So I'm seeing their growth. And on the most recent benchmark, my students were 77% of them were proficient or highly proficient. So that shows me that it's working. And looking at the standards, this was really cool because I can see the breakdown on school city standards. And on the standards I taught, we were above, well above on everything but one standard. And it was a complicated standard, but so again, it's showing me that's working. So improvements, what I've been working on, you've heard it already, pacing. The pacing and following along, it's great. It's one lesson a day, but sometimes it's complicated. We can't move on. And to just move on and they don't have it, we were just working on multiplying mixed numbers. Many, many steps we had to take an extra day to practice. And so it's just figuring out the pacing, using that data to guide me. The other thing that I've been working on is an enrichment piece. The one, I don't want to call it a negative thing about the curriculum, the one thing that I struggle with is the enrichment. There's an enrichment worksheet, 1 page. I have probably about 5 or 6 accelerated students, and I give them that after they get 100% of the quick check and they finish it 5 minutes. And then they come up to me and they're like, well, now what? I'm trying to do a small group with kids that aren't getting it. So I usually try to find supplemental materials and looking for ways to keep enriching them. So that's what I did with my classroom. Thank you for coming up and sharing your experiences. We're going to be challenging. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, I think, are there any questions? I'll let you guys start. No? One question we always ask each school as they come up is, what are your technology needs to implement this curriculum or beyond that in terms of your school?
Okay, so at Santa Cruz we have 2 operable labs, okay?
2?
And then there is we call technology enriched classroom where I believe from 2nd to 5th grade we have 3 teachers per grade level. So each teacher has a cart in the classroom, a cow per se. computers on wheels. And then I know at this point, we recently got a new cart. Fifth grade has their own cart, each classroom does. And then the teachers that don't have them, they're sharing their cart, so that they can do small group instruction and use them for the math component with the Chromebooks. So we have been equipped with the technology, and the teachers are using it. We just kind of share our experiences and go through trial and error, and just kind of keep working together as a team.
Great, thank you.
So no wish list?
Wow.
I mean, I'm
We're
just,
doing budget.
Hold on. I don't think, she hasn't been in the classroom in a while, so because you're about to hear a list if you're going to give her that opportunity.
Teacher that was a, what is it called, Fiesta Bowl winner. And so
Right.
she won the 5,000, and so she got one of those new boards. So it's kind of like a whiteboard.
like a Cisco board kind of thing?
I have one in my room.
It's kind of
Oh, smart board.
But it stands alone.
Yeah.
You plug it in just like a computer. Our subs can use it. So wish list, just 2 or 3% free.
There we go.
Okay, we'll put that down. I'll bring that to the budget committee, first thing. No, I don't have any questions. Your presentation was very thorough, but I want to thank all of you. I've been to your campus. I think it's amazing. Your teachers are an amazing team. And I enjoy hearing the excitement in your voice for this curriculum, and that excites me. So it must excite the students. So thank you. And I'll get down on
You'd have one.
that smart board going.
Do you guys get all that?
Aaron, close your ears. Don't. Thank you.
I did have one question, Dr. Conley. I'm very interested about that mastery first concept in mastery before moving on. Is it something that it's your philosophy that you're bringing to Santa Cruz, or because I know that it can be challenging. It can be challenging to meet all of what you need to get to in terms of standards. So by the end of the year, you're looking at the standards that are remaining, and you have to pace yourself in terms of how do I get mastery at that level and then meet the standards that I need to by the end of the year. But I was curious because we all have, in education there are lots of curves. There's the old bell curve, and but it was an interesting curve when you mentioned it. So I was curious if that's something that's paced. If you're monitoring that they're able to make what they need to get to for standards by the end of the year, even incorporating that mastery early on.
Yeah, so one of the things that we do in January, around December time, I announce it in November. We call it a closing the gap plan. So we pull out our handy-dandy district calendar, and we look at what we've taught. We'll pull up the school city benchmark, and we'll say, okay, these are the standards that kids have mastered. This is what we have left, and honestly, these are the days that we have to get it done in. And then they submit a plan to me, and then we kind of monitor the plan. So we do it for math, and we do it for ELA. And then in terms of mastery, I worked with the National Center for Urban School Transformation of some sort, and there is a philosophy out there that we want to make sure that there's understanding, but it's not a one classroom thing, it's systemic. And so as a school, we work together. We didn't start overnight. I think the first year I was here, we just looked at ELA. This year, we're looking at math. Next year, we'll have writing. And we're looking at things. You don't necessarily have to have a common formative assessment, but you do have to have a way to check what you said you taught. Teachers pick the objective, and they pick how they're going to check it. But at the end of the week, if you've been teaching all week, they need to know what they're doing.
I like that. That's a great holistic approach.
Just really quick, something that I really love about this curriculum is that it breaks things down in smaller steps with lessons. So to what your point is, so let's take division, which long division was, blew my kids' minds last year, and we came up with it again, and now it's like 2-digit divisors. So we had one lesson, and it was just determining the place value for the quotient, first number of the quotient. And that was all they had to do. So when I look at that and we teach it, do I get every kid 100% mastery? No, because I would probably still be teaching.
Right.
So, but I look at the whole span, and so I realize, okay, the next lesson, Dad just focused on that, so that's all we concentrate on. Then the next lesson, I can still reinforce that, and we still practice that as we're learning the next skill. So it kind of, it
Okay.
I don't know if that answers the question. but
No,
it's really
it does, that helps. I'm just curious, because it sounds like it's it has to be a curve almost by Q3 and Q4 in order to be able to meet those standards, that there's almost exponential growth at the end of the year in order to be able to get there. But it's just a really interesting approach, and it's fresh, and I just wanted to say thank you, and it's needed. Sometimes you look at something in a different way, if it's almost like a data-driven pacing chart, it sounds like, to where you have, the ability to be able to reach a certain point, understanding where you need to be within different points of the year. So that's awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for being here. That's a great presentation, and we appreciate what you do for us. Thank you. Okay, item C, we have the Maricopa High School Career and Technical Education presentation. Ms. Bernadette Rusnello, I think, is going to lead that, but I think we get to hear from the students, which is exciting.
Michelle.
Or Michelle,
gotta pick it
sorry.
up.
Bernadette's listed.
That has not been decided because of the floodplain issues. So.
It has to be designated as such. It's stuck in designation.
Well, that's
hell.
what Aaron's been checking out.
Yeah, kind of working with Colorado Holdings.
Yeah.
Potentially more, again, never could finalize that donation and then have to take it back and redo it. If you were to look at some of Rick's stuff, he does anticipate that area will be developed for another 5 to 10 years or out of the floodplain. It's just indicating that. I'm not real sure where they are. City folks probably know a little bit more about the mitigation of that than I do.
It changes daily. Yeah.
So, trying to get, as up to information as we can. But again, I think the stuff I've seen is 5 to 10 years out on that. And they won't, again, they're not prepared to donate it, give a donation agreement for that. So I think with that in hand, and through a little bit of building in my day, in my career, if you're to potentially think about building a high school, it takes almost a year and a half under construction. You can go a little bit quicker. It takes almost a year to plan. So you're 2.5 years out from start date.
It's kind of why I bring it up, because we're going to be in nibble mode for the next couple of years at least. But if we have something, where we know where we have at least a designation for a potential new school, then that part of it's not an issue. We know that there's a home. But if we don't have a home, that's a much bigger issue. So I think that would be like our starting point.
Right, and you have to also think about, along with another high school is a little bit more expensive
Sure.
to operate than
Absolutely.
middle school. So there's a lot that goes on if you're going to put another high school out there.
So,
But that's some of the things, again, that's really some of the engaging conversations that we're going to have with the community.
so Mr. Roush, it looks like we need to have something on a future agenda that will update us all on the property, because so we can keep going tonight. We could debate this and talk about this for another half hour. So can we just ask to, sometime after spring break, get an update on
Well,
all of our properties?
I think that, and I think the questions that are being asked tonight are good questions, because
Absolutely.
then it gives Mr. Roush kind of a direction in terms of what he needs to come back to us with. So I think it's time well spent to
Absolutely.
dig into that issue tonight.
Great. Yeah. Great.
And thank you for being kind of ahead of the curve and having stuff for us are already to be discussed.
Yeah. Thank you. And we'll make sure that this is an ongoing discussion. There's a lot of factors that are involved, and so we'll be bringing that either as work study items or potentially action items as we go forward this spring. So, okay. We are now moving on to item 6, the consent agenda.
No,
Do I have
No,
any
we have
motion?
no, back up to F.
We have F.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, F. Mr. Roush. I have it right here. It's thrilling.
And I'd like to present the January financial report featuring taking the cultural items back.
Want to just bring a little bit.
To your attention, I'll get a chance to read minimal, but our minimal budget is doing just fine, around 50%. But just want to bring attention to our 610 budget, so it's really going. We are spending some of our funds like directed on curriculum and other things. So something to watch. We do have some reserves, and thankfully,
next year with legislation, proposed legislation. We should do this more like a 610. So, so I've got to watch, and we'll probably, if we go for the new curriculum, we're probably going to have to do that out of a different fund than 610, some reserves, and prepared to potentially do that.
Even if the legislature restores that?
I'm sorry, pardon me.
We would have to do that even if the legislature restores that funding?
I'll probably get some transfers out of this, but if you look at, we're down 410,000 projected at the end of the year, so. We're potentially talking about, over $5 million for curriculum. So we'll have to spend that out of our other funds that we have. So we'll probably, which is a good thing, right?
We have it, right.
I just want to bring to your attention something to watch.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Roush? No? Thank you. Now, can I get a motion on item 6, consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, A, discussion and possible approval of the personnel schedule. Mr. Beckett.
President Brewer, Mr. Governor, Dr. Chestnut, you have the personnel schedule in front of you tonight. I did send an email to each of you a little earlier.
Yes.
Would like to please remove number 434 through 465. Once again, I think I explained my rationale with that. I think it's just, it don't make sense. I'm very excited that we're able to bring those names of those returning teachers back. We have issued contracts earlier this week, and so we're very happy that this process has started already.
Thank you. I just want to thank you for getting those contracts out so early. I think it's a new record and something that we definitely applaud you and your staff for. So that's really great. We know it takes a lot of work. Yes, please do.
We get better every year. Well,
Mhm.
HR department.
Mr. Beckett, just curiosity, what was the percentage of contracts that we did?
Send out renewed, for renew, or do we renew all certified?
If I was picking a percentage, or off the top of my head, I would say about 98% of our current staff receive a contract.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good question.
Certified.
Certified.
Right. Great.
Barring any further discussion, motion to approve.
With the exception.
With the exception of what was stated.
434
Email to us, yes.
to 465.
Motion to approve with those exclusions.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, 7B, discussion and possible approval to schedule a special governing board meeting to discuss and consider the current superintendent contract. So everyone get out your calendars. So, you're not on spring break, Mr. Judd, the week of the 12th, correct?
No.
Because
not
I was
to the
thinking we
following
could
week.
do it like 30
Not to the
minutes
following
before
week.
our interviews, to not have people coming a different day.
But like I said before, I will take a day if needed during this process.
And, well, I wouldn't have you take a day for the special meeting. We've already discussed it once, and we only need, I mean, of course, but let's make it work if you really want to be there. I wouldn't want you to take a day for this, though, because it's just, it's going to be a quick executive session.
Does it need to be done
And public
before
vote.
the 13th, though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
does?
complicating the conversation here. I thought that my last day was projected to be I don't have my calendar sitting in front of me. Did I say the,
You said the 16th, but we're on break that week, so
Right.
we
Well,
might want to meet the 8th or 9th.
to complicate matters further, this afternoon I got an email from my new future boss who said that they might prefer my last day here to be the 9th because they'd like me to possibly start on the 12th, but they haven't made up their mind yet.
That's what I
Okay,
thought.
so we can, well, but the email today said he would start the 19th.
True.
We got an email today that
Right.
he was going to start the 19th.
I saw that, but
Right.
that's why I was thinking before that.
Yes.
Right, which we could have done the 13th or 14th, but now okay. So,
If it could be next week,
the week of the 5th,
would be appreciated.
what does everyone prefer?
I have the 8th open, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the date I don't have open. We have confirmation.
We only need 3.
Unless we do it,
Believe it or not, I can do.
Well, Wednesday night
Any
is
evening,
Desert Wind
except
night,
Friday.
so
yes.
if,
So let's try to avoid
I
that.
mean-
Let's avoid, yeah.
and Tuesday night, city council meeting. So,
You can't do Monday?
Could we do Wednesday at 5 if we only need 3 of us? No offense. And then we'd still have time to get over to Desert Wind.
What time does that start?
6.
6.
I
I'm fine
can,
with that.
can you do 5? Can you be here by 5?
Yeah. I
You
do at
can?
5 o'clock.
Okay, because, I mean, it's not like you can wear jeans if you want. It's,
Yeah.
easy. Okay.
I can
So,
do 5.
do we have a motion?
Steve, does that will that work for you?
Yes,
I'm still in denial, but will that work for you?
that will work.
All right, I'd like to motion that we hold a special governing board meeting on Wednesday, March 7th at 5 p.m.
Here at the district office still?
Yeah,
Correct?
here at the district office.
Just clarifying.
Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8A, adjourn. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are officially adjourned. It is 9:01 p.m.